Welcome to Past Unboxed, your destination for untold, mysterious, and deeply meaningful stories from history. Before we begin, let me say this. Today's story isn't just a tale, it's a journey. So wherever you are, maybe you're winding down before bed, doing chores around the house, or stuck in traffic on your evening commute, just sit back, relax, and let the story take you somewhere unexpected. At Past Unboxed, we don't just tell stories, we reveal truths. Every episode is carefully chosen to be both educational and emotionally rich, so you not only learn something new, but feel something too. So get ready, because the story you're about to hear follows our core principles. It's authentic, it's thought-provoking, and it's designed to stay with you long after it ends. If you enjoy journeys like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button, leave a comment with your thoughts, and help us grow by sharing it with someone who'd love this too. Your support means the world, and it's what helps us come back each time with even better stories, deeper research, and more passion. Now take a breath, and let's dive into today's powerful story. Today, we uncover a royal story so brief, yet so profound. A moment in time that reveals something greater than kingship itself. This is the tale of a king who ruled for just 20 minutes and left behind a timeless lesson. True power is often found in the decision not to rule. Let that quote sink in. Now, imagine it's the 19th century. You're standing at the gates of power, the fate of a nation resting on your shoulders. The crown, glittering, heavy with history, is handed to you. And just 20 minutes later, you give it back. This is no fantasy. This is the real story of Louis XIX of France, the king whose reign was shorter than most of our coffee breaks. To understand how we got here, let's go back. France had seen a century of upheaval, revolution, bloodshed, empires, republics, and fragile monarchies. After Napoleon's fall, the Bourbon monarchy was restored under Louis XVIII and later his brother, Charles X. Charles X, however, was out of step with the times. He tried to roll back many of the gains of the revolution. He cracked down on freedom of the press, limited voting rights, and tried to reinstate old aristocratic privileges. The people were not having it. In July 1830, Parisians rose in rebellion. The Three Glorious Days, as they came to be called, saw workers, students, and soldiers build barricades, clash with royal troops, and demand change. It wasn't just a protest. It was a revolution. Charles X, seeing the writing on the wall, knew his time was up. On August 2nd, 1830, he abdicated the throne. But here's where things took a strange turn. Rather than hand over power to the people or a new government, he passed the crown to his son, Louis Antoine. In doing so, he thought he could preserve the monarchy through a smoother, symbolic transition. And so, Louis Antoine became King Louis XIX. Just one problem: no one accepted it. The people were done with kings. The streets were still smoldering from rebellion. Louis himself knew that stepping into power at that moment would only spark more conflict, maybe even civil war. So he made a decision that would etch his name into the history books. Just 20 minutes after becoming king, Louis XIX signed an act of abdication, stepping away from power without a word to the public. There was no coronation, no royal proclamation, no parade. Historians believe he didn't even leave the room where he received the crown. Now pause for a second. Most people, when given power, cling to it. They fear losing control, reputation, relevance. But Louis chose to surrender power, not in weakness, but in awareness. And here lies the lesson. True leadership isn't always about stepping forward. Sometimes it's about stepping aside. Louis recognized that the monarchy had lost its meaning. He understood that forcing himself into power would only create more suffering. In just 20 minutes, he showed a level of humility and wisdom that many leaders spend a lifetime chasing. After his abdication, Louis went into exile. He lived far from the public eye, never attempted a political comeback, and never gave interviews. He spent his remaining years in quiet reflection. Some saw him as a coward. Others believed he made one of the noblest sacrifices in modern political history, choosing peace over pride. Whatever your interpretation, the facts remain. He was king. He ruled for 20 minutes, and he chose to leave. Think about that in the context of your own life. How many times do we cling to control, even when letting go might lead to healing? How often do we chase titles instead of purpose? Louis XIX reminds us that power isn't always about dominance. Sometimes it's about discernment. He left no dynasty. He left no legacy of war, conquest, or reform. But in that absence, in that single act of refusal, he left a story that continues to echo through time. And in a world where ambition often overshadows wisdom, maybe that's exactly the kind of story we need to remember. So next time you're faced with a decision, whether to fight for control or walk away, remember Louis XIX. He wore no crown. He made no speech. But he left behind a lesson worth more than gold. If this story spoke to you, make sure to subscribe to PastUnboxed. Every week, we uncover the forgotten chapters of history, stories that don't just entertain, but make you think. And trust me, we're just getting started.